Madtrappers. Madtrapper here. Been back from Mississippi for a week and a half. Trying to get the fur put up so we can get it sold. I've got all the cats, fox, odds and ends put up. Finishing the last of the beaver. Probably got a dozen, 15 of them left. And then I'll do the otter last. I have them sold privately to an individual, so no hurry on them. Anyway, first step I do, of course, is I comb them all out. I got a little hanger on the wall there. I'll show that here when I get done fleshing. But they're all combed out. You don't want any hair, balls, burrs, dirt, balls, anything in there, because especially the way I do it, you will definitely cut the hide. So, of course, after it's combed out, first thing I do, remove the ears. Don't need them on there. Just a lot of meat to rot. Now on my fleshing beam here, I have these little boards to hold the beaver on better. I try to just do beaver or small animals, muskrats and mink, whatnot. With them boards on there, it's hard to do fox, coyote, bobcats, otter, anything like that. First thing you want to do is make sure your knife's real sharp. I start by cleaning off the eye. Just usually have some little burgers of meat and fat. Get down to the ear. We already cut the ear out, so it should ride right over it. I'm going to do this a little slower than normal speed, and then I'm going to do another one at regular speed. Even when you cut the ear out, there'll be a little pocket of fat on each side of the ear. You'll still have to dig it out. Now the cheek area, what I guess I call it, it's probably the second toughest part of the beaver, next to the tail area. So it takes a little slicing to get it off there. And you want to know where your front feet are when you're doing this, because if you cut up against them, you'll cut a big hole, I'll call it the armpit of the foot. Another very important thing, know your fleshing beam. I got a smaller tapered flesh beam. I got a flat surface about that big, and that's all I can cut on the beaver. If you get over here on either one of these sides, you'll just cut holes in them. Which I'll be surprised, and I'm trying to do this and talk at the same time I don't do that. Now I don't use real long feet. I only want about a 1/2 inch of hide left on there to be able to tack shut. Some guys do very, very good jobs and they sew theirs shut. So you want a little bit more possibly. I don't know. I've never sewn them. I do more of a commercial. Now you'll want to watch it on this. When you roll one of the teats out, you'll want to cut it, otherwise it'll that hole will just keep getting larger. It'll ride down with the hole. You get down to the second one, work off the side, work off to this side. They'll expose it. You go right past it, pop it right out there, and you won't leave a hole. There's talking up there, and let that one ride on it. You wouldn't have done it. We'll try to do better on the other side. Come back up, just barely put the leg over the top of the board, just to clear this stuff off. Now with this method, using just a sharp knife for most of the cutting, you hear about hot spots on the hide you have to go back and do. You won't have any of those done right. I even go back here and clean off this little white stuff. All needs to go. After I get done past the tip on that side, I'll come up here, clean the eye off on here. Down here to the ear. Clean it off. I'm going to start this stuff rolling down. Got a little left here. Come in here and get it out of there. Like the face of a coon, this little white stuff, it'll dry down and you'll never know it was there. Again, come over here. There's cheek meat. It's about as tough as the tail portion. Get the leg poked up through here so we don't cover that. Cut it off. I like to, a 1/2 inch. Don't have to. Whatever you like. Back here, kind of roll this down towards the leg a little bit. Hook it on the top. Again, this time we'll watch for the teeth. Right there's coming out. So we'll just roll it right off. And no hole this time. We actually left the main part on. Same thing here. You'll want the edge right about the center of your board. It will push better. Push down one side, push down the other, find it. Just leave it on there and you roll it right over. Clean the edge all the way down, nice and clean edge. The knife I use is, I'll pronounce it wrong, Forishner Victorinox. I've used them for years. Got several of them laying about. Actually, my beaver skinning knife also. Next year I might do a few skinning demos. I do skin a little bit different than I've seen some of the guys. Not better, just different. But I hear YouTube doesn't like skinning, so didn't want to tackle that in my first year. Now I go ahead and keep some of this stuff cut off. Just more weight trying to pull the hide off. Usually take a strip pretty much all the way down the center. Now what I'm doing here, I'm taking a knife, laying it at the top of the meat and pushing and sliding. Push and slide, a slicing motion. But your angle is very important. You don't want to be down, it's going to dig in. You don't want to be too flat, it'll ride over that heavy white stuff. So just a slight angle on it. And mostly slicing. Just a little pushing, more slicing. And I will tell you, the sharper the knife, the better. You let your knife get dull or start with a dull knife. You'll do one of two things. First, you're going to cut the hide because you got to push harder. And two, you start seeing wrinkles. Like you're right there, knife dull. I've been trapping and skinning for, what, 40 plus years. And I can't keep a knife sharp and save my soul. I see guys sharpen a knife and they'll skin or flesh several beaver with it. I can't do that. Never been able to. I've got every kind of commercial sharpener laying around here you can think of. Get down here, the last little bit of tail, you can kind of see how that pulled down. You don't want to pull it real tight, just get it kind of snugged up and it won't roll under. You get right down about where your fingers are, let go and push it on down. Do not let any of this white fat get on your hair side. It's the same with a burr or clod of mud, it'll cut right through. Here where the vent was, the edge of the caster. You have more here, more over here. You'll cut that stuff off as you go. It does not need to be on there. When you go to board it, you'll have a nice round pelt that way instead of all these little jagged edges. This is what I'm talking about. Get rid of it, don't need to be there. Not only does it not need to be there, technically I wouldn't think you'd want it there. Alright, come back up here. The meat side, I work till I'm real good down into the white fat. You can kind of almost see a line where it starts. Try to do this a little different. Right there, you're just starting to get into the white fat. You just do it a little ways into the good white fat. Then I'll come back here. Big chunk of heel off his back foot. Don't need that on there. You don't want to run your knife up too close to that back leg. Like the front leg, you will cut into it. Just kind of work it down. You'll see the meat starting to get a little looser. Again, I'll go out here. Just clean down to the edge. That's more the vent tail side, whatever you want to call it. Don't need that on there. Get rid of that. Kind of trim as we go. This one I use a necker. Push right down over yourself off. And you can back it up to the edge of your board, hook the back of the leg on it, and you can clean this out right around it real good. Again, you don't want all these jagged edges on there. You don't have there. And then you can roll this white meat fat right off. Go ahead and clean the skirt off real good. Come up here, a little bit clean off. Don't hit that teat. Got a lot of scarring there. You don't want to work on that too hard. Clean that off. And throw the other side on. Same thing. Come up here. Again, light pressure, and more of a slicing motion. Most of my cutting's done with from here to there, just about 2 inches of my blade. But yet I seem to dull the whole thing down. I am seeing I left a little heavier right in here. Don't want that on there. So we're gonna go back and clear that off. That's why you don't have to worry about a hot spot tool. We're getting rid of that stuff as we go. Once I put them on a board, I don't look at them again until I'm taking them off the board. Again, just working this down. Just kind of where all the white starts, the white fat. There's the hind leg. We're going to kind of work toward it a little bit. All right. Here and just catch all this mess. Back here to the back leg. Run over that real good. You have to watch for scars. Always look for scars. If you have a scar up in here and you're pushing that hard, you are going to pop that scar. Get rid of that extra hang there. Not too much. Some over here. Clean that skirt off real good. Just push the sides off. Keep it where you're working straight down the hide and it's going with the hide. If you ever got a hide over here and you're trying to work this way, it's going to wrinkle and roll. If I was pushing real hard, it's going to cut right through there. Actually, just doing lightly, left marks. Make sure your hide is always straight with where you're pushing. And come up here to the cheek leather. Just kind of push it all out toward the top and toward the nose. Nothing fancy. Trying to get some of this bigger stuff up here toward the edge, because it gets cut off anyway. I cut right below where the nose is. And I'm kind of a little slight angle and circle to the other side where the two big cheek meats and the nose are. Wipe this off here. And that's what it looks like right there. And we got him cleaned up. I'll get everything set up in my other room and we'll go get him put on board. Alright guys, we got the resituated, camera redone. Got my apron off, my boots, a little cooler. This is how I, I'll bring the camera down when I'm done to show it better, but this is how I store or put up all my beaver boards. Got, I think I got room for 23 boards here. I emptied several this morning. I'm going to go ahead and empty this one and show you how I empty it, and show you how I put them back on. First thing I do is wipe everything off real good. This is an ugly beaver here. This one got had turtles problems down there. This is a smaller beaver, smallest one I kept. I don't even know why I kept it, but he'd eaten from here all the way around there, up in the hind end. Let's see what's on the other side. Two little ones, not much better. Guess it'll work. I'll wipe them off. You kind of watch how dull this is. A lot of times it'll kind of shine it up a little bit anyway. Get the grease moved around there. Now as you see, I use staples. I used to use nails. If I showed you some roller board, you can see tons and tons of nail holes. This is a newer board. Staples are, to me, a lot faster. Only thing about them is you got to make sure you get everyone out. NAFA years ago had a lot of complaints that guys weren't getting the staples out. So I'll show you how I take them off, and then I'll show you how I put them back on. I use a staple rake. This was made by, his last name I believe was Beauregard. Now, I bought this like 25 years ago. Well, it's been longer than 20 years ago. I built this place in 2000. I had it before that. So there you go. 25 plus years ago I bought this. I haven't seen them lately. I don't know if they still make them or not. It's just got a lot of little teeth. I don't even know what kind of steel it is. I took and I bent out each corner to pop a single staple out. But works really good. Just slide underneath there. Start prying up. Go a little slow motion here. And just move it about a third the width of the thing each time. So this one loosens it and these actually pull it. And normally I'm going that speed. Also, if you make yourself a little whirligigger, it works really nice. You don't have to chase the beaver out. After they're popped up, you kind of hit down right behind them and pull. Kind of reach them out. Won't get them all, but I'd say normally it'll get about 80+% of them. Now when you get to a place like this right here, you got to be careful. There's a little niche and several bite marks in this beaver. One right on his butt. You hook those, you rip them out. Same when you get closer to the front legs, especially like if you've got a tip hole, when you pull the tip through. I'm real prone to hooking them. Ain't paying attention. You gotta watch those. Now here you might see that little bitty piece of staple. Yeah, I don't know what's up with staples nowadays. Like I said, I've been doing this for 25 years or better. In the last few years, staples are horrible. More of them break than pull. Like there's another little piece. And you gotta find all them other pieces. So doing it this way can be a pain in the butt for that reason. After that, I get my needle nose pliers. And unfortunately, then I have to go around here and make sure there ain't no one sticking up, because I don't, when I'm prying, I don't want to get my hand on one of these little bitty spikes. And it is stupid how bad they are nowadays. I bet up until 3 or 4 years ago, I never had that problem. You gotta be careful on the front leg, so if you pull up on the front leg too much, you'll rip it. If you don't get the staple out, that's fine. I'll show you how we do that in a minute. Matter of fact, I'll leave some in just for that reason. Get enough out to pull the beaver out easier. I'll leave those. Now when you're going to leave them, you got to get them under it with the hide and pull on the back side. These on the front side. You go in and try to get in between them and pull them up. That way you're not going to rip the leg hole out. See, all of these just fell apart. Now I go around and do the legs last, but as you're raking them, once you get this side loose, if you already have done the legs, there's nothing to hold the hide to pull against as you're raking the staples out. So if you come up with a system like that, if you're not doing some other system, it may not matter. But this way, you need something to pull against. Oop, one got me. Right there. Pop them up and then use your finger to push them back down. One time they'll pop right up, and then you can get them. I do try to pull some of these out as I'm going if I see them. Like I say, you won't get them all. You'll have to go through and do a cleanup on them. Here's all the ones that didn't pull. I will say also, it's worse like this when I'm using a new piece of plywood like this is. This one's only been stapled and only for the last little bit. I think I got these last year. Got a big hole in it here. A buddy of mine was doing some remodeling on the shed of his. And I don't know if I want them. And I did find out that they a lot worse on them. The ones that had the nails through, I guess there's enough of a pattern where it don't affect it. Alright, I'm going to lay him to the side. Get my fancy staple finder. And I had to come up with something to find these little bitty pieces. Get them off the board. And them are what sticks me. Some of them you can see. And that didn't have nothing on it, and still broke. Yeah, you don't want all these little pieces on there when you're working. Putting up the next beaver. Alright. And we take old Mr. Beaver back here, throw him down on there. Just go around and rub the edge real light. You don't go too fast because you will find them the wrong way. Now we left these up by the leg on some of the leg right there going. Now you want to grab the leg that you're pulling to of the staple. And the other one you can bend down a little bit, helps them come out. Make sure you have to hold the staple out. Again, shouldn't have to worry about it, but yeah, they suck. They're pretty good getting these out. Here's a little piece, about a half of them. Feel something wrong down in here. There's the staple. Go back here. Make There ain't nothing with that leg. You just go through, fill them, make sure you get them all out. Couple in the front leg. Again. Alright, sorry about that. I had to do a battery change and GoPro batteries. 100% juiced up and didn't last whatever 20-25 minutes. Anyway, from there, stable broke. Keep going along, feeling, making sure you're not leaving any staples, or in this case, staple pieces in it. That's the leg we cleaned totally out. Alright. After they're all out, brush them out real good. I don't know what it is. Too much humidity, which it can't be. I got a dehumidifier. Too little humidity, but there's only certain times they want to curl like that as soon as you take them off. Now, if you leave them sit around for a while, they always want to curl. Go on the stack. Alright, get the one we just fleshed. Let him out. Of course, the pattern is supposed to be oval. You'll see none of my boards have patterns on them. A lot of the old ones have old patterns on them. After you do it for a while, you just kind of eyeball it. We'll see how it turns out. Get it all lined up. Now, I'm not pulling or stretching. I'm just rolling it out to its natural shape, its natural size. Start, I don't know what you call it, star shaping it. Well, that hole is in a very bad place. Couple of them. Left a little extra on right there, which is loose. I just didn't cut it off. We'll take care of that. After you get the initial shape pattern out, what we want to do then is just start going in between every other one. And we'll do that a couple times. Start here. You see we got a little wrinkle in here, still loose. I don't want to overstretch it. You overstretch it, you start getting all the white lines and popping off the staples. There. That's the second go around of staples. Now we'll start again and do a third go around. I don't do the legs or any holes until I've got the outside all done. There's the third go around. And what I don't like is this nose is a little loose. Pull that out. See if we can tighten him up just a little bit. Keep the good oval pattern going. Now we'll go for the fourth go around. In most instances, this will be the last go around. Super huge beaver, you might go for 5 now. Now, as you see, depends how big the gap is. If I put 1 or 2 staples, I want them all about an inch apart. There can go 1. Now, as I get that side done around the legs, that's when I do it. That way I don't have to go back. Back leg, I usually do 4. Front leg, I usually do 3. Unless I cut a really big front leg. We'll go ahead and knock that tip shut. And that's it. You got a little bit here of that vent side left. We'll go ahead and trim him off. Now you can, if you want, take your knife and scrape it and get all this loose stuff, but I find it a lot easier to do after they dry. Mostly when you wipe them down, it'll come right off. Well, there it is. Pretty oval, maybe not perfect, but all looks good to me. On this little whirly deer, the way I got it set up, as you see, I can flip it over. These are, I don't know, 3/8, ½ inch cold rolled steel I made. Found out you got to put pipe insulation and duct tape it. The leather side on that will actually leave the mark in the leather. So you don't want it laying on steel. We'll go ahead and knock this ugly one off here. Again, don't know why I kept that one, but I did. Say that new plywood, boy, these staples really take hold. If these staple brakes aren't made anymore, might be a little business opportunity for somebody. Me, I'm not mechanically inclined, so not within my abilities. Get the hand pokers out of here. Back and clean them all up a little bit, but the bottom of my hand perforated. Nice little pile on the floor. Sweep them up, and I got a little magnetic thing that gets them out of crevices if I so desire. Alright, they're all out of there. Open this up. Put my hand on too. The other thing about these little lighter rubber gloves, examination gloves, staples really do work number on them. Especially this one. I've tried a couple different brands. Arrow brand. I don't know what brand I'm on right now. A different one. But none of them seem to matter. And I got my stapler set to the lightest that it'll go, and it don't matter. When you get around something like this where I kind of patch the leg back together, gotta be real careful not to rip it on the staple. again. This one, I don't know. They say prices are up right now from when I sold them in January. I watch all the markets. I see, you know, some $30 averages, even on the Hatter beaver. So it might have been worth keeping. It may bring me a few bucks. Castor markets will be down. They sold all my castor from a Missouri harvest. So I got quite a bit of castor out of these. I don't know the final count. I didn't add up what I actually caught either. I trapped on 5 different places in Mississippi. From what I've already processed and have laid out for process, I've got 65. So it's going to come, it's going to come somewhere around in there. So I probably caught 90, 100 beaver down there. Probably should have kept some of the littler ones. Normally even this size last few years are not worth a nickel. Put him on the pile. We'll go ahead and do one more. I'm just going to do this at normal speed, whatever that is. Get him on there. He had his face bit. I think he had a lot of bites if I remember. Let's see when we get him opened up here. He had a lot of heavy scar. You can see the color. I don't flesh them down real tight. As they dry, they do have a propensity to open up. And they will dry good. Won't be able to tell the difference. I'll leave those. Out of bullets. That one. Flat on this side, but it'll do. Take him, slide him in there. Now what we got, that's how I put them in there. They are just 2x4 with nails. They'll slide in between each set of nails. They'll stay in there. Got them dry, looking good. Ones I've got done so far. Or it's just a simple, I pre-hang them. Got a heavy nail up here, hang them from, that's where I comb them. Comb every one of them out. My whirly digger here, so I've made, that's just an old industrial fan base. Put in a T-nut on it. Just drill a hole, welded a nut on it. Little threaded T, that way if I don't want it to spin, I can stop it. Normally just when I'm storing stuff in here. Keep it well greased. A smaller pipe went into it. I just built this little platform out of some scrap metal. I used to work in a fabrication shop, so I had access to that stuff. But anyway, it works great. Don't have to chase the beaver around. They can chase me around. All right, guys. Well, I hope you found some value in some of that. Have any questions or comments? As, like always with all the other channels, please post them below, and I'll answer them as I can. Going forward, after we get all the fur done, and we have 1 or 2 more videos we're going to put out yet, but we're going to get into, of course, mushroom hunting, running lines, catfish, flatheads, and I do a little bit of artifact hunting in the summer. So to fill the summer vacancy before next trapping season, we'll be posting some of that. And then toward September, October, when I start cleaning up all the gear, you know, waxing and dyeing everything, we'll put some of that out there too. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on down the line.